We said to Alessandro Del Piero, would you rather be the chaser or the leader? And he said, definitely the leader. I'd rather be Inter to close in the season. Maybe you wouldn't be so much now as confident. We are going to rank what we think is going to be the outcome of the 9 games to go for Inter, 10 games to go for Milan, by the way, and see by our maths who's going to win the Scudetto. So why don't you start us off, Grella? Obviously, the draw is in there from today at Fiorentina next week. What do you think?
They get a win at Fiorentina,
okay.
I would imagine.
Win, moving on to Roma, Marco?
I think this one is a tie. I know Roma's record is not great against some of the bigger teams, but I think
even at San Siro?
I mean, look at what happened today with Atalanta. I think Roma's a better team than Atalanta, and I'm just nervous about the momentum. I'm nervous about the characters in this team. We've said how many times that Inter, in the big moments, crumble. It's going to be a very difficult game against Roma.
Any disagreements?
No, it's fine.
No?
I think that's a good one. I would have said the same thing.
Como then, Nige?
Como wasn't great in the cup, but I think they'll get the win at Como. I think they'll get it done at Como this time.
100% agree.
I could see another draw. Como, okay. Cagliari, they win.
Win. Okay, Torino.
At home against Cagliari, they win.
Torino. Parma.
Win.
That was the game that slipped up in last year, by the way.
True.
It was in Parma, though.
If we're not going to give the draw to the Como game, then I'll give it to the Lazio game.
Really?
Yeah, and Lazio, as bizarre as they've been all season, they're actually pretty sound defensively, and they show up for the big matches. I think they'll give Inter a hard time. It's in the Stadio Olimpico. Maybe by then they get their fans back. We'll see. So I just like Lazio to get something done there. And again, if you couple that with Como, a draw is fair.
Evens out.
One of the two, yeah.
You know what's kind of scary? This is the boogeyman for them. Parma, Lazio, and Bologna. Those are the teams that have stopped Inter from winning the Scudetti in the last couple of years. And I wonder, with the players in this Inter team, if that starts to get...
There's one team that stopped Inter from winning the Scudetto, and it's themselves.
I know.
That's the only team.
I know.
Okay, what about Verona then? All in agreement with the win?
Win, yeah.
Yeah, and Bologna then? How do you feel? Last game of the season, at the Dallara?
Honestly, I'm skeptical if they could get the win. I'm between the draw and the win. If Milan is still on right behind them, ready to win, I could see them crumble, but I'll give them a win. I'll give them a win.
I think
You're
I'll win.
okay with that?
I'll win.
Just by the way, if it is a draw on points, it's going to be a Scudetto playoff match, isn't it? It's not going to be done by calculations of who scored more, what's the head-to-head, which Milan obviously would win at this moment. Okay, so let's turn it over to the Rossoneri then before we calculate the points. Tomorrow's game at Lazio. Let's start with that one. Nige?
I'll go for a win. They smell blood.
Yeah?
I think they'll get the job done.
Agreed, boys?
I like a draw there, but it's fine.
Okay.
I like the win. Yeah.
The win. Torino, Grell?
Torino, they win.
Napoli, Marco. This one's falling on your shoulders.
Well, they beat them the last time. I think they'll beat. I'm more nervous with Milan in the smaller games than I am the bigger ones. I think they'll tie. I think they'll tie against Napoli. That's at Napoli. That's a difference.
Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fine. I would have gone for a draw. Udinese, I'll go for the win.
All right, Verona, Grell?
Verona, I don't know. How is the game going to get played? They're both going to be in their own end the whole time, defending. But I'll give them the win against Verona.
Juve is the interesting one, Marco.
Very interesting.
Oh,
Allegri against his former team.
at Juventus.
Once again, at Juventus. I'm going to give them the win.
No.
I'm going to give them the win.
No way.
I'm going to give them the win.
This is going to be on San
For the
Siro,
draw?
by the
They're
way.
going to be fighting for Champions League football as well at Juventus. I think if you consider all the matchups.
No,
but-
this is at home, no, San Siro for this one.
Oh, that's all right. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the game that they want to play, though, Grell. Have we learned anything about Milan? They get up in the... I'm more nervous for Verona than Juventus.
Yeah, I mean, Sassuolo,
Also,
they'll win.
Sassuolo's the worrying one.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
they're the-
I think they'll win that still. Listen,
Mappe.
Allegri has this team tuned in. They smell blood, and especially after today's result as well, you better believe they're smelling blood.
Give them a draw against Atalanta.
Okay. Marco, Genoa?
I think we played this wrong. I think we should be giving the wins in the big games and the draws against Genoa, but I'll give them the win.
How disappointing would that be, by the way? They get themselves back in the Scudetto race and then stumble against teams
Marco has a great point, though. You could actually put win for Atalanta in a draw for one of the last two.
That's what I think.
That's sort of been what's happened to them. Like, you could see them drawn against, Torino just beat Parma 4-1. You could see them drawn against Udinese. Udinese is surprised that when they show up on the weekend, you never know when it's going to be. But when
Genoa
they do
beat
show
Roma.
Up, yeah, Genoa beat Roma.
Okay, well, that'll balance out then
Last
if
one,
you're giving
then.
the other one.
Draw?
you give it a win, I think.
Last game of the season?
Okay.
I mean, you could reverse these last three or even throw a draw into Udinese and give these wins. So that's why I think ultimately that's what it's
I'm
going to
fine
be.
with it.
Okay,
I'm fine
so
with it.
are you ready to hear the outcome of the predictions?
We know.
91 for Inter, 86 for Milan. So based on your calculations still, Inter would win.
How about if Napoli win all their games? What would happen? Would that be possible?
Those calculations are out the window. You all think that, though? So at the end of the day, considering how it's all going to play out, Inter look
It's
like
in
they're going
Inter's
to win.
hands. It's
the
in Inter's
Scudetto.
hands.
All
That's the
right.
reality.
5-point lead with, 9 games left? I
Yeah.
mean, it should be that way.